Two blue-collar bottle cappers from Milwaukee burst onto American television screens. Laverne Shirley wasn't just a hit, it was the single highest-rated television broadcast in the entire country, pulling in over 35 million viewers every single Tuesday night. Today, we are opening the vault to break down 15 hidden secrets, backstage feuds, and untold details from Laverne and Shirley that 99% of viewers completely missed. From secret on-set feuds to tragic career turns and surprising film legacies, we are dissecting every single detail. Before we start bottling the beer, make sure to subscribe to Idacumabajay TV on YouTube and follow our official Facebook page right now for your weekly masterclass in television history and archival pop culture. Punch your time card. Let's step onto the lot.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, don't get up, huh? You're gonna spill your food. Knock yourselves out.
Arthur Fonzarelli, this is...
Number 15. The script-tearing backstage feud. While Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams possessed a legendary, lightning-fast comedic timing together on camera, their real-life professional relationship on stage 19 was fraught with intense, daily friction. Before landing the lead role of Laverne DeFazio, Penny Marshall was a struggling actress facing severe industry rejections, often living in the shadow of her famous brother, producer Gary Marshall. She worked minor television spots, including a recurring role as Myrna Turner on The Odd Couple 1970 to 1975. Cindy Williams had already established her credentials in major motion pictures, starring in George Lucas's smash hit film American Graffiti 1973, alongside Ron Howard and Harrison Ford, and Francis Ford Coppola's Oscar-nominated thriller, The Conversation 1974 with Gene Hackman. Because Gary Marshall was the co-creator and executive producer of the series, Cindy Williams became deeply paranoid that the writing team led by Mark Rothman and Lowell Ganz was giving Penny Marshall the best punchlines, better physical gags, and superior storylines. The friction reached a boiling point during table reads on stage 19. Williams and Marshall would routinely pull out stopwatches during script read-throughs to measure, line by line, whether they had equal dialogue. On multiple occasions, Williams refused to shoot scenes until script lines were rewritten to match Marshall's word count, famously tearing script pages in half right in front of the writing staff. Writers and directors regularly quit the production due to the toxic, exhausting atmosphere. Despite the backstage tension, both actresses built extraordinary careers and amassed immense wealth. Penny Marshall made history by transitioning behind the camera to become one of the most successful feature film directors in Hollywood history. She directed Tom Hanks in the fantasy comedy Smash Big 1988, becoming the first woman in cinema history to direct a movie that grossed over $100 million at the box office. She followed this with the Oscar-nominated medical drama Awakenings 1990, starring Robert De Niro and Robin Williams, the iconic baseball classic A League of Their Own, 1992 starring Gina Davis, Tom Hanks, and Madonna, and The Preacher's Wife, 1996 starring Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston. Cindy Williams went on to star in television films like The Art of Being Easy 1999, and guest starred in hit series like Seventh Heaven, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and 8 Simple Rules, while also producing the blockbuster feature comedy Father of the Bride, 1991 starring Steve Martin, and its 1995 sequel, cementing her legacy as a formidable Hollywood talent.
The shower is over. I'll see you at the wedding tomorrow.
Not so fast, my little butterlips. I ain't leaving until I get to speak.
Number 14. The secret relationship scandal that caused the walkout. In 1981, as Laverne and Shirley was entering its high-stakes 8th season, an off-screen relationship scandal disrupted the entire production. Cindy Williams married Bill Hudson, a member of the popular music group The Hudson Brothers, who had previously been married to Goldie Hawn and was the father of future actress Kate Hudson. Hudson stepped in as Williams' manager and began making aggressive demands on the Paramount lot. When Williams became pregnant in 1982, Hudson demanded that the production schedule be completely restructured around her pregnancy, insisting that Williams' workdays be shortened to just 2 hours and that she be allowed to shoot scenes while resting on pillows. The producers and network executives flatly refused, arguing that rewriting entire episodes around her pregnancy schedule was logistically impossible and financially ruinous. Tempers flared, leading to shouting matches between Hudson, Gary Marshall, and Paramount executives in the hallways of Stage 19. Williams felt betrayed, believing the studio was trying to force her out because of her marriage and pregnancy. In July 1982, after producers refused to sign a contract amendment accommodating her terms, Williams walked off the set permanently, leaving 2 episodes into Season 8. Paramount immediately slapped Williams with a massive $20 million breach of contract lawsuit, while Williams countersued the studio for discrimination and unfair termination. The legal war forced the writers to scramble, abruptly writing Shirley Feeney out of the series by claiming she had suddenly married an army medic named Walter Meany and moved away. The show was retitled in production notes as simply focusing on Laverne, but ratings plummeted without the core duo, leading to its cancellation at the end of season 8. Bill Hudson's messy divorce from Goldie Hawn and subsequent estrangement from his children, including Kate Hudson and Oliver Hudson, became tabloid fodder for decades, heavily detailed in his controversial 2011 memoir 2 version, The Other Side of Fame. Despite the legal fallout, Williams eventually resolved her suit with Paramount and continued acting in major stage productions, including Broadway's The Drowsy Chaperone 2007 and national tours of Greece, solidifying her career resilience beyond the 1982 scandal.
Sorry, forget it.
Told her. Wait, she got a problem.
Well, at least she didn't get a blob of dough in her face.
Number 13. Michael McKean and David L. Lander's real-life origins. Lenny Kosnowski and Andrew Squigman, the hilariously greasy, unwanted upstairs neighbors, were not created by Gary Marshall or the show's writing staff. They were original comedy characters developed years earlier by actors Michael McKean and David L. Lander while they were broke college students at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh during the late 1960s. McKean and Lander formed an underground satirical comedy troupe called The Credibility Gap, performing on Los Angeles radio stations KRLA and KPPC alongside Harry Shearer, who later voiced iconic characters on The Simpsons. When Michael McKean and David L. Lander were hired as staff writers for Laverne and Shirley in late 1975, they were earning modest union wages. During an early script meeting, Gary Marshall was searching for 2 eccentric male characters to serve as recurring foils for Laverne and Shirley. McKean and Lander slipped into their old college comedy personas, doing the trademark "hello" entry burst. Marshall was so impressed that he wrote Lenny and Squiggy directly into the pilot script, transforming the 2 writers into full-time cast members overnight. Behind the scenes, McKean and Lander often clashed with directors over the physical comedy routines, fiercely protecting the authentic, underground improvisational roots of their characters from being turned into generic slapstick. Their comedic chemistry led to a real-life musical comedy album released by Casablanca Records in 1979, titled Lenny and the Squigtones, featuring guitarist Christopher Guest, credited as Nigel Tufnell, which served as the direct precursor to the legendary rock mockumentary This Is Spinal Tap 1984. Michael McKean built an incredible career in cinema and television. He starred as David Stane Hubbins in Rob Reiner's iconic rock mockumentary This Is Spinal Tap 1984, played Mr. Green in the cult classic mystery film Clue 1985, alongside Tim Curry, and appeared in Christopher Guest's acclaimed comedies Waiting for Guffman 1996, Best in Show 2000, and A Mighty Wind 2003. McKean achieved peak critical acclaim for his dramatic portrayal of Chuck McGill in AMC's hit series Better Call Saul 2015-2022, earning a Primetime Emmy nomination. David L. Lander worked as an actor and voice artist, starring in Steven Spielberg's comedy feature 1941-1979, voicing Smartass in Who Framed Roger Rabbit 1988, and appearing in Scary Movie 2000. Lander courageously battled multiple sclerosis for over 30 years, serving as a national ambassador for the National MS Society before his passing in 2020.
Hi, Carmine. What are you doing carrying your socks around?
Oh, there's some people from the Milwaukee Mercy Mission in the building collecting and...
Number 12. Eddie Mekka's Tony-nominated past and on-set financial struggles. Born Rudolph Edward Mekka in Worcester, Massachusetts, Eddie Mekka was a trained vocalist and dancer who achieved success on the Broadway stage before ever stepping foot in Hollywood. In 1975, Mekka starred in the hit Broadway musical, The Lieutenant, delivering a vocal and dramatic performance that earned him a prestigious Tony Award nomination for Best Actor in a Musical. Despite his Broadway acclaim, Mekka was broke, struggling to pay rent in New York City between theater runs. When he relocated to Los Angeles in late 1975, he landed the role of Carmine, the big Ragusa, Shirley's sweetheart, and an aspiring singer and boxer. However, during season 1, Mekka faced extreme financial hardship due to standard entry-level television contracts that held back residual payments for months. Mekka literally lived out of his car and slept on friends' couches during the filming of early episodes on Stage 19, unable to secure an apartment lease in Los Angeles until his initial paychecks cleared. On set, Mekka frequently clashed with producers regarding his character's direction. As a Tony-nominated Broadway singer, Mekka was frustrated that the writers primarily used Carmine as physical comedic relief or as a plot device to break up Laverne and Shirley's storylines rather than showcasing his legitimate, high-caliber vocal talents in full musical numbers. Following the cancellation of Laverne and Shirley in 1983, Mekka returned to his roots in musical theater and television. He starred in major national touring productions of Fiddler on the Roof, Grease, and The Sunshine Boys. He also made appearances in blockbuster feature films, playing a memorable role as a nightclub dancer in Penny Marshall's hit movie A League of Their Own, 1992, alongside Madonna and Gina Davis, and appearing in Dreamgirls 2006 alongside Jamie Foxx and Beyoncé, maintaining a career as a performer until his passing in 2021.
Oh, no! Come on! Please, I looked all over for a cheaper car. I couldn't find one.
Number 11. The onstage feud between Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams. By the start of Season 2, Laverne and Shirley was the most watched show in America. But the real-life dynamic between lead actresses Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams had deteriorated into complete radio silence behind the scenes. While millions of viewers tuned in to see their comedic chemistry, Marshall and Williams were often not speaking to each other off-camera. The feud stemmed from a combination of creative differences, exhaustion, and intense paranoia regarding billing order. Cindy Williams felt overshadowed by the Marshall family's influence on the lot, as Gary Marshall was the showrunner and their father, Anthony Marshall, served as an executive producer. Williams believed that production decisions were favoring Penny. The hostility grew so severe during Season 2 that the two lead stars refused to talk to each other between takes, communicating strictly through directors or stage managers. To keep the production moving, director Jerry Paris implemented a rigid protocol on stage 19. He would walk between their respective dressing rooms to deliver script changes individually, bringing both actresses onto the soundstage only when the cameras were ready to roll. The moment the director yelled, "Cut!" Marshall and Williams would immediately separate and return to their private trailers without exchanging a word. Remarkably, despite the intense personal silence off-camera, the moment the cameras recorded, their professional instincts took over, delivering flawless, high-energy slapstick routines that won over audiences. Years later, after the show ended, both Marshall and Williams reconciled, putting their historic feud behind them and appearing together at nostalgia conventions and television retrospectives, openly discussing the extreme pressure of 1970s fame that drove them apart.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hassenpfeffer Incorporated.
Number 10. The secret origin of the Schlemiel, Schleimazel, hopscotch chant. The iconic opening sequence of Laverne, Shirley featuring the two leads marching down a Milwaukee street, chanting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schleimazel, Hassenpfeffer Incorporated, became one of the most recognized intro sequences in television history. However, the Yiddish chant was not in the original pilot script, written by Mark Rothman and Lowell Cans. During rehearsals on stage 19, director Jerry Paris felt the opening shot of the two girls walking to work lacked physical energy and comedic rhythm. Penny Marshall casually mentioned a Yiddish childhood skipping song that she and her neighborhood friends used to chant while playing hopscotch on the streets of the Bronx, New York, in the late 1940s. The words translate Yiddish slang. A Schlemiel is a clumsy person who always spills their soup, while a Schleimazel is the unlucky person the soup lands on. Marshall taught the rhythm to Cindy Williams right there on the soundstage floor. They added the fast-paced arm-locking march and the phrase Hassenpfeffer Incorporated, referencing a traditional German rabbit stew dish. Executive producer Gary Marshall loved the raw, authentic energy of the chant and ordered the camera crew to film it immediately for the opening title sequence. The intro sequence became a massive pop culture phenomenon, referenced and parodied across global media for decades. It was famously recreated in popular films and shows like Wayne's World, 1992 starring Mike Myers and Dana Carvey, The Simpsons, and Family Guy. The chant anchored an opening theme song, Making Our Dreams Come True, sung by Cindy Greco that surged up the Billboard Hot 100 chart to number 25 in 1976, generating millions in music publishing royalties for Paramount.
Bowling ball.
Well, they did tonight, so that way neither of us have to come.
All right.
Hi, Pop.
Hi, sweetheart.
Number 9. Phil Foster's mob-connected comedy Past and On-Set Arguments. Born Philip Finkelstein in Brooklyn, New York, Phil Foster, who played Laverne's fiery Italian-American father, Frank DeFazio was a legendary, gritty stand-up comedian long before joining the cast. In the 1940s and 1950s, Foster performed in mob-owned nightclubs across New York, Chicago, and Las Vegas, alongside comedy icons like Don Rickles, Buddy Hackett, and Joey Bishop. Foster was famously known for his raspy, fast-talking Brooklyn accent and unfiltered stage persona. When Gary Marshall cast the veteran comedian as Frank DeFazio, the owner of the Pizza Bowl, Foster was living in modest financial circumstances, relying on small stand-up gigs and minor television guest spots on shows like The Danny Thomas Show and The Patty Duke Show. On stage 19, Foster's old-school, rough-and-tumble comedy background created immediate friction with younger, modern directors. Foster hated sticking strictly to the written script, routinely throwing in unscripted Brooklyn slang and improvised insult lines during live tapings. When junior directors tried to correct his timing or force him to stick to the script, Foster would loudly argue with them on the floor in front of the live studio audience, drawing on decades of experience performing in tough comedy clubs. Gary Marshall frequently had to step in as a mediator, respecting Foster's comedic instincts and allowing him the freedom to improvise key moments. Foster's portrayal of the protective father became a heart and soul anchor for the show. Foster continued acting in major television projects, guest starring in hit series like The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, and Taxicab Chronicles 1983, before his passing in 1985, leaving behind a legacy as one of the great character actors of 1970s television.
Oh, Granny, what big eyes you got.
Better to say you with.
Number 8. The tragic downward spiral of Betty Garrett. Betty Garrett, who played the girl's tap-dancing, eccentric landlady Edna Babish, was Hollywood royalty decades before Laverne and Shirley premiered. In the late 1940s, Garrett was a contract star at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer MGM, starring in classic musical films like On the Town 1949 alongside Frank Sinatra and Gene Kelly, and Take Me Out to the Ballgame 1949. However, at the height of her movie stardom in the early 1950s, Garrett's career was shattered during the McCarthy Red Scare. Her husband, actor Larry Parks, who had been nominated for an Academy Award for The Jolson Story, was blacklisted by Hollywood studios after testifying before the House UN American Activities Committee, HUAC. Because of her marriage to Parks, MGM abruptly canceled Garrett's contract, blacklisting her from major motion picture studios for over 2 decades and plunging the couple into severe financial distress. Garrett rebuilt her career through theater and landed a recurring role as Irene Lorenzo on the hit series All in the Family 1973 to 1975, before joining Laverne and Shirley in season 2. But behind the scenes on stage 19, Garrett suffered profound personal tragedy. In 1975, just as she was signing her contract for the show, her husband Larry Parks died suddenly of a heart attack, leaving her devastated. Garrett threw herself into her work on stage 19 to cope with grief, but faced creative disappointment when producers abruptly wrote her character out of the series during season 8 without a proper farewell. Despite these setbacks, Garrett persevered, returning to Broadway in the 2001 revival of Stephen Sondheim's Follies, guest starring in hit series like The Golden Girls, Becker, and Boston Public, earning a Primetime Emmy nomination in 2003 and receiving a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame before her passing in 2011.
Fact is, Laverne, you could use some standards.
Oh, we're going right for the throat now, huh? Sure, it's been easy for you all these years.
Number 7. Carol Penny, Marshall's name change and divorce struggle. Born Carol Penny Marshall in the Bronx, New York, the actress spent years fighting for respect in an industry that constantly criticized her accent, appearance, and family connections. Early in her career, talent agents told her she was not attractive enough to be a leading lady, prompting her to drop her first name Carol and go strictly by Penny Marshall. Before landing Laverne, Marshall was a single mother living in a tiny Los Angeles apartment after a young, failed marriage to college athlete Michael Henry, struggling to raise her daughter Tracy while working minor acting gigs. In 1971, Marshall married actor and director Rob Reiner, who was becoming a megastar playing meathead Michael Stivic on All in the Family. During the early seasons of Laverne Shirley, Marshall and Reiner were heralded as Hollywood's premier comedy power couple. Reiner even made an uncredited guest appearance on Laverne and Shirley as a date for Laverne. However, as Laverne and Shirley surged to number 1 in the ratings, the immense pressure of their conflicting 16-hour production schedules created strain in their marriage. Reiner was expanding his filmmaking career, while Marshall was working grueling physical comedy shoots on stage 19. The intense media scrutiny and demanding careers led to their high-profile divorce in 1981 after 10 years of marriage. Marshall poured her pain directly into her creative work. She channeled her brilliant comedic mind into directing, producing cinematic masterpieces like Big 1988, Awakenings 1990, and A League of Their Own 1992. Marshall became a multi-millionaire media executive, co-founding Parkway Productions and investing in major real estate projects, establishing herself as one of the most powerful, respected, and influential women in Hollywood history before her passing in 2018.
Thank you. Listen, maybe you can get a date week double. Who could I call on such short notice?
Number 6. The monogrammed L was Penny Marshall's personal hack. The cursive capital letter L stitched onto the left breast of Laverne DeFazio's sweaters, bowling shirts, and pajamas became one of the most recognizable wardrobe emblems in television history, but it was not designed by Paramount's costume designers or written into the original series concept by showrunners. During wardrobe fittings for the pilot episode in late 1975, Penny Marshall was reviewing the racks of clothing assigned to her character. Because the show was filmed in a fast-paced multi-camera setup in front of a live audience, Marshall was concerned that when she and Cindy Williams were performing chaotic physical comedy routines together, distant cameras and wide shots wouldn't clearly differentiate her character from Shirley. While digging through a vintage clothing shop in Los Angeles, Marshall found a vintage black sweater with a cursive felt letter L sewn onto the chest. She brought it to stage 19 and asked the costume department to pin large felt and monograms onto all of Laverne's tops. The simple wardrobe hack allowed viewers to instantly identify Laverne in wide camera shots, while giving the character a distinctive, working-class fashion identity. The L monogram became a massive marketing phenomenon. Paramount licensed the emblem for millions of dollars, producing official Laverne and Shirley merchandise, including lunchboxes, t-shirts, dolls, board games, and clothing lines. The original monogrammed sweater worn by Penny Marshall on stage 19 was later donated to the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C., preserving it alongside iconic artifacts of American pop culture history.
Stop! The window flew open! No!
Number 5. The physical comedy injuries that shocked studio executives. Laverne Shirley was famous for delivering some of the most demanding, complex physical comedy and slapstick stunts on primetime television, reminiscent of classic vaudeville and Lucille Ball's work on I Love Lucy. However, performing those high-octane physical gags week after week on stage 19 took a severe physical toll on lead stars Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams. Unlike modern productions that utilize trained stunt doubles for complex physical scenes, Marshall and Williams insisted on performing nearly 90% of their own stunts, including falling off high couches, tumbling downstairs, getting tangled in heavy brewery machinery, and wrestling on hardwood floors. During season 1 alone, both actresses suffered repeated physical injuries on set, including sprained ankles, severe bruises, hyperextended knees, and minor concussions. During the filming of season 1, episode 8, a physical stunt involving a heavy swinging door went wrong, striking Cindy Williams in the face and leaving her with a visible black eye and split lip that halted production for several days. Paramount executives were terrified that an injury to either lead actress would shut down the #1 show in America, resulting in thousands of dollars in daily studio losses. Paramount brought in professional stunt coordinators and mandated that high-risk physical comedy scenes be pre-rehearsed for hours before live tapings. Despite the physical exhaustion and constant injuries, Marshall and Williams refused to dial back the physical comedy, maintaining that their authentic, bruised, slapstick commitment was the exact reason millions of fans loved the show.
Actress, model, dancer.
Shirley Feeney, Irish Protestant.
Number 4. Leslie Easterbrook's audition stunt and rapid rise. When Laverne and Shirley relocated its setting from Milwaukee to Burbank, California, in season 6, executive producer Gary Marshall sought a vibrant new character to energize the cast. Enter Leslie Easterbrook, a tall, opera-trained actress and singer from Los Angeles, who was struggling to transition from minor theatrical roles into major network television. During her audition on the Paramount lot in 1980, Easterbrook knew she needed to make an unforgettable impression on Gary Marshall. When handed the script to read for the role of Rhonda Lee, a tall, glamorous, sports car driving neighbor, Easterbrook burst into a high-pitched operatic vocal warm-up right in the middle of the casting office, striking dramatic poses and improvising physical comedy routines that left Marshall laughing hysterically. She was hired on the spot. On stage 19, Easterbrook's commanding presence and comedic timing made Rhonda Lee an instant hit with viewers during seasons 6, 7, and 8, but her breakthrough on the show served as the launching pad for an iconic film career. In 1984, director Jerry Paris, who had directed dozens of Laverne and Shirley episodes, cast Leslie Easterbrook as the stern, leather-clad, bullhorn-toting sergeant, later lieutenant, Captain Debbie Callahan in the blockbuster comedy film Police Academy, 1984. The movie became a massive box office phenomenon, grossing over $149 million worldwide. Easterbrook reprised her legendary role as Captain Callahan in 6 sequels, including Police Academy 2, Their First Assignment, 1985, Police Academy 3 Back in Training, 1986, and Police Academy 4 Citizens on Patrol, 1987. She later transformed her career into a cult horror icon, starring as Mother Firefly in Rob Zombie's acclaimed horror film, The Devil's Rejects, 2005, and appearing in Halloween 2007, solidifying her status as a versatile screen presence.
Well, that's the last we'll see of him.
I wonder if there's a radio in here I can use to call Sergeant.
Number 3. The cancelled animated spin-off and voice actor backlash. At the absolute peak of the show's global popularity, Paramount Television partnered with legendary animation powerhouse Hanna-Barbera Productions, creators of the Flintstones and Scooby-Doo, to create a Saturday morning cartoon spin-off titled Laverne and Shirley in the Army, which premiered on ABC in October 1981. The bizarre premise saw Laverne and Shirley enlist in the U.S. Army, where they were forced to take orders from a stern, anthropomorphic pig sergeant named Squealy, voiced by comedy legend Ron Palillo, famous for playing Horshack on Welcome Back, Kotter. Both Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams were paid top-tier voice acting fees to reprise their roles in the recording studio at Hanna-Barbera's Cahuenga Boulevard facility. However, the production was plagued by backstage voice actor disputes and tight recording schedules. Cindy Williams was growing exhausted from balancing her live-action filming schedule on stage 19 with early morning voice recording sessions at Hanna-Barbera. When Williams walked off the live-action show in 1982, she also abandoned the animated series. Hanna-Barbera was forced to hire voice actress Lynn Marie Stewart to take over the voice of Shirley for the final episodes. The animated series was merged with The Duke and eventually cancelled after 2 seasons in 1982. Despite its brief run, the show stands as a classic example of 1980s Saturday morning cartoon crossover culture, generating lucrative syndication sales and international merchandising deals for Paramount and Hanna-Barbera.
And a tie, too. And a hanky. Is that for showing or for blowing?
Number 2. The Happy Days crossover backdoor pilot strategy. Laverne and Shirley was not originally conceived as a standalone television series. It was strategically launched through a backdoor pilot episode on Happy Days in Season 3, Episode 15, titled Two Travelers, which aired on January 6, 1976. In that legendary episode, Fonzie Henry Winkler calls up 2 fast-talking brewery bottle cappers, Laverne DeFazio and Shirley Feeney, to join him and Richie Cunningham, Ron Howard, on a double date at Arnold's Drive-In. The comedic chemistry between Henry Winkler, Penny Marshall, and Cindy Williams was so electric that ABC network executives ordered a full spin-off series immediately after reviewing the initial taped footage. Gary Marshall executed a brilliant promotional strategy. ABC premiered Laverne and Shirley just 3 weeks later, on January 27, 1976, airing it directly after Happy Days on Tuesday nights. The seamless flow between the two shows created an unstoppable ratings engine. Within weeks, Laverne and Shirley surpassed Happy Days in the Nielsen ratings, claiming the #1 spot in America and generating millions in advertising revenue for ABC. The successful backdoor pilot strategy established a television blueprint that Paramount used to launch additional hit spin-offs, including Mork and Mindy, 1978 starring Robin Williams, and Joni Loves Chachi, 1982, creating a connected television universe decades before modern cinematic franchises popularized the concept.
Society dinner.
Oh, pardon me, ladies.
Yeah, I would have worn my tuxedo, but my polo pony ate it.
Number 1. The Real Life, Schatz Brewery Inspiration and Milwaukee Legacy. The fictional Schatz Brewery where Laverne DeFazio and Shirley Feeney worked as bottle cappers, was directly inspired by real-life industrial history. Show creators Mark Rothman and Lowell Gans based Schatz Brewery on the famous Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company and Pabst Blue Ribbon Brewery in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which were industrial powerhouses employing thousands of working-class citizens during the 1950s. To capture authentic footage for the series, Paramount sent a second-unit camera crew to Milwaukee, Wisconsin in late 1975 to film exterior shots of the real Schlitz Brewery buildings, industrial smokestacks, and Lake Michigan shorelines. Those real-world industrial clips were edited directly into the show's opening title sequence, grounding the comedy in an authentic working-class environment. The cultural impact of Laverne and Shirley on the city of Milwaukee was historic. The show transformed Milwaukee into a global symbol of blue-collar pride, driving a surge in Midwestern tourism. In 2002, the city of Milwaukee officially dedicated a bronze statue and commemorative plaque honoring the show, while local tours continued to visit real-life locations featured in the opening credits. The series ran for 8 seasons and 178 episodes, generating hundreds of millions of dollars in global syndication, international broadcasts, and home media releases. It proved that a series centered entirely on 2 independent, working-class female leads could dominate global pop culture, leaving an indelible mark on television history and inspiring generations of comedic filmmakers, writers, and performers worldwide. What began as a quick backdoor pilot on Happy Days transformed into an absolute cultural titan that defined an entire era of global entertainment. Beyond the physical slapstick, the Schatz Brewery conveyor belts, and the iconic L sweaters lay an extraordinary story of creative survival, where legendary producers, rebellious writers, and brilliant actresses fought through contract wars, personal feuds, and intense industry pressure to deliver a masterpiece of American comedy. Now, we want to hear directly from you, our community of television historians and classic pop culture fans. Which of these 15 Backstage secrets surprised you the most? Do you think Laverne and Shirley was better during its early Milwaukee Brewery seasons, or after the characters relocated to California in season 6? And if you could bring back one classic television duo for a modern reunion, who would it be? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below right now. I personally read through the comments, and the most engaging analysis will be pinned right to the top of the section. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to Alga TV on YouTube, and follow our official Facebook page right now to never miss our deep dives, lost media investigations, and behind-the-scenes histories of your favorite classic television shows and legendary Hollywood moments. Thank you for watching. Keep those bottle caps spinning, and we will see you in the next.